In their last 3 games, the Cowboys have outscored their opponents 127-37. They've won their last 3 games by more than 20 points each, and none of them have been even remotely close by the 4th quarter. The Cowboys are dominating teams left and right, and they just dominated a Washington team that has put up some impressive games this year. So let's talk about the Cowboys' big win on Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Let's get into it. It feels like we always start out these videos by talking about Dak or CD, but instead, let's switch it up a little bit and talk about a guy that we have a ton on this channel, and that is Daron Bland, or the pick six man himself. Bland just became the first defensive player in NFL history to have 5 pick sixes in one season. I just want to make this clear, we might never see this again in our lifetimes. There are guys that played 12 to 15 years in the league that didn't have that many over their entire career. That many pick sixes in one season is a complete anomaly. I'm serious when I say this. We're not going to see that again. That record is going to stand the test of time. And what makes it even crazier is Bland might actually get more. It's just week 12. We have 5 more games for him to get another or 2 more pick sixes. A little fun fact that makes this even funnier is that Bland has the same amount of touchdowns as the entire Patriots wide receiver core. We just wanted Bland to be solid in replacing Diggs. Instead, we got a guy that is playing out of his mind right now. And if that call by Jim Nantz didn't give you goosebumps when it was happening, I don't know what's wrong.
10. There it is. This is history. If Bland can take it the distance, this will be the record. Bland for the 5th time has a pick six. It's never happened in the history of the NFL. And what a call by you.
Shout out to Daron Bland. The dude is insane. As for the rest of the Cowboys defense, 4 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, and 8 quarterback hits in this game. We've talked about it a ton, but this defense can absolutely dominate a game with their defensive front, and that's exactly what they did. We knew coming into the game that Sam Howell had been sacked a lot. This Washington front is not very good. So I thought before, that would be a weak spot and something the Cowboys could exploit. Sam Howell looked like he was having an awful day. Dallas did give up some big plays, and you would like them to cut down on those a little bit, but they weren't just solid in drop back situations. On the ground, Dallas allowed just 4 yards per carry, with Brian Robinson Jr. getting just 3.5. I thought the defense was solid in stopping the run. Not elite, but solid. Good enough to win big games. And one guy that helped in both the run department and the pass department was Jonathan Hankins. Hankins had 2 sacks in this game. Let that sink in. A multi-sack game for a run-stuffing defensive tackle. And it's just hilariously awesome. I just looked at this, and Hankins hasn't had a sack since 2020. I thought he was good in the run game and obviously solid in pass rushing situations. Big shout out to Jonathan Hankins. And also a quick shout out to Defensive Player of the Year candidate Micah Parsons, who also had 1.5 sacks and was being held every other play, but still made a huge impact. Once again, teams are not going to be able to keep up with this Dallas front if they can't block even this much. Dallas has too many playmakers along that line, and they're eventually going to get home and completely wreck the game. While a lot of guys showed up, we can't go without talking about Dak Prescott, who continues to make a case for NFL MVP with every game that passes by. He just had another 300-yard day with 10 yards per attempt and 4 touchdowns. He continues his very impressive year. 23 touchdowns so far to just 6 interceptions, with the best passer rating of his entire career. I don't think it's a stretch to say that this is the best version of Dak Prescott that we've seen. Yes, better than that 2020 version before he had the ankle injury, or as Tony Romo would call it, a cramp. This is easily the best that we've seen him, and he has to be entering the MVP conversation this week, if he hasn't already. And one of the things that could increase those chances that he does is to start winning these big games down the stretch. People will tell you now that the Washington Commanders are a joke of a team, but they played 2 close games against the Eagles, and Dallas just beat them 45-10 with Dak having one of the best games of the year. But if Dak can continue to have games like this and the Cowboys win these big, tough games down the stretch and on the road, he's going to be legitimately in the MVP talk. And one more player on offense before we go is Tony Pollard. I get the sense that Pollard is getting better and better every week. And usually I would say that doesn't happen with running backs because it doesn't. But when the season started in earlier games, I just kind of felt like Pollard wasn't the same guy that we saw in 2020. But it feels like every week that passes, he chips away and gets back to that 2022 version. It seems like he's starting to turn it up a notch. He averaged 6.1 yards per carry today with a touchdown and had a 27-yard run, something that we didn't really see at the beginning of the year. But all in all, a great game for the Cowboys, a great way to spend Thanksgiving, watching Dallas completely annihilate an NFC East rival. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you also had a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving. I'll see you guys back this week on the channel talking Cowboys football. I love you all. Bye.